Dave Bestwick as our lead candidate in the Northeast. Dave went through our selection process. I thought he seemed a really good guy, a really nice bloke. But since then, my eyes have been opened. And many people have emailed and contacted us from the Northeast region to tell us what Dave is really like. So let's see. Dave, thanks for joining us. As I say, I did think previously you seemed quite a nice guy, but my eyes have really been opened for what I've read from people in the Northeast of Scotland. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to put these things to you and see what you've got to say. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right, here we go. First of all, it's disappointing to see a political party with outdated and fascist policies raise its head in Scotland. That was one person. And another email said, I received one of your party's election campaign information notices this morning. To be honest, I really thought I was reading a flyer from Adolf Hitler's party. You seem to be broadcasting hate in Scotland. So Dave, tell us about your connections with fascism and Nazism.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm laughing, but it just is laughable. I have avoided politics most of my life. I've certainly had no connection with any fascist or Nazi groups. I actually like people. I want people to flourish, particularly the people of Scotland. I have a great love for Scotland, having lived here for 25 years now. And
okay, so just to clarify, I haven't got any connections with fascist and Nazi organizations.
No, not at all.
No. Okay, we seem to be broadcasting hate in Scotland. So tell us more about that, Dave. Who exactly did you hate?
Well, that's the irony, isn't it? Because I actually love people. I don't hate anybody, regardless of their position, their views. You know, I'm a lover of people rather than a hater of people. But I can only say that. People that know me, I think, would say that's true of me. But obviously, some of these people, all they're getting is literature, and they ascribe hatred to me. I can't do much about that.
Well, let's carry on then. It's another email. If you ever post your disgusting and hateful SHITE through my door again, I'll report you to the police under the Crime and Disorder Act 1998 for your hate crime. You're revolting. Dave, you were aware that you were breaking the law in sending out flyers promoting the Scottish Family Party?
Totally unaware of that. If they're right, then I'm guilty as charged. But as I understand,
have the police been to see you yet?
No, I'm still waiting for the knock on the door.
Right, yeah. Okay. The same email also said that you're revolting. I hadn't noticed that myself, but I assume this person must know you very well. Right, here's another email. You, David Bestwick, who promoted this flyer, are a dangerous human. You are a joke, and I hope you have a truly terrible day. Are you having a terrible day, Dave?
Well, it's not been too bad so far. No, thank you.
Well, I'm sure they're hoping tomorrow is worse.
Yes.
Right, let's move on. You're doing amazing things for the idiotic community. Bigots and horrible people finally getting the true representation they finally need. You absolute. I won't read the last word. I mean, you probably don't need to respond to that one. Let's see what we've got next. Today, one of your campaigners posted a leaflet with your key policies through my door. I am respectfully requesting that you do not do this ever again. I would provide details of my address in this email so that you could avoid this mistake. However, I need to trust that you're not going to plant a burning cross on my front garden. Dave, Dave, the Ku Klux Klan is no laughing matter. Could you reassure this person that you're not intending to plant a burning cross in their front garden?
I can.
Right, I'll provide you the address if you want to make sure you do miss that one out when you're planting burning crosses in gardens. Yes. And she suggests that the family party should be renamed the Scottish Supremacist Regime. since we're obviously taking this sort of like pro-Scottish racist approach. I mean, there's probably other parties I could think of with that.
I think there may be another one, yes.
Yeah, or two even.
Yes, yeah.
Right, the next one. I have received some unsolicited mail from you, which appears rather offensive and intolerant. Just to be clear, are you seriously suggesting that women should not be in control of their own reproductive health, that children should not be taught sex education, and that members of our valued LGBT plus community should somehow be stigmatized? Right, so are you suggesting that children should not be taught sex education?
No, and our leaflet doesn't suggest that either.
Right, okay, thanks for clarifying that. Women should not be in control of their own reproductive health.
Well, I think they are, and yeah, I don't understand the accusation coming from our leaflet.
No, we don't have any anti-contraception policies. LGBT people should be stigmatized. Is that your view?
Definitely not. Every person, as far as I'm concerned, deserves respect. They have dignity, and I would stand up for anybody that is being stigmatized.
Okay. From another correspondent, but just to emphasize, we have a lot of positive mail as well. We just thought we'd go through some of these negatives. I am disgusted that you have posted something through my door opposing my bodily autonomy. How can you say that you respect life, then in the same letter oppose a person's right to the decision not to carry a child and birth it? You are an embarrassment to Scottish politics, but I sincerely hope you figure out what you're trying to promote before sending out illogical, poorly thought out, hate-filled pamphlets. So, Dave, you clearly haven't thought it out, because you say you respect life, and yet you're pro-life. How do you reconcile that contradiction in your thinking?
Well, I suppose what I would want to point out is that there is a life inside the woman, and that needs to be respected, not simply the woman's life, but the life of the baby inside her.
Right, thank you very much. Please never post your racist, anti-trans, pro-suffering, pro-ignorance propaganda through my door again. So, Dave, do you want to tell us more about the racist views in our leaflet?
I mean, that just puzzles me. I don't know where they've found any racist comments at all. Yeah, it's just a puzzlement to me that they've discovered something that I can't see there.
Right, okay, here's another one. Right, you're hateful. Vote for us because we're transphobic, sexist, and want the world to return to when only white men have power. Letter is welcome at my door. So tell me about your desire to see only white men in power.
Well, I don't have that desire at all. I want to see everybody represented.
Okay. Your flyer adds to the already incredibly offensive statement with especially the confusing of children. Arguably, children are confused by almost everything at some point while growing up. This is about transgender ideology. The transgender community is not confusing. Only the uneducated are confused by basic human rights. By educating children and doing so open-mindedly, you allow them to understand their own way at their own pace. Transgender people are people, not an ideology that should be censored when educating children. Right, the transgender community is not confusing. Transgender people are people, not an ideology. What do you think about that, Dave?
Well, I quite agree that transgender people are people, but what is of great concern to me is introducing the idea to young children that they can choose whether they want to be a boy or a girl, when what adults do is their responsibility. But to introduce that to young children, to me, is absolutely dreadful. It's the very thing that brought me into to be involved in politics. I have to stand up for children to be allowed to have childhood without being introduced to things that just should be of no concern to them in their childhood.
Yeah.
I want to protect their innocence.
How do you plan to protect children from vulgar and corrupting sex education? What is your plan? Are you going to blindfold them? Are you going to stick things in their ears? How are you going to prevent them from receiving this sort of sex education?
By removing it from the curriculum and replacing it with something wholesome and helpful.
Oh, right. Okay. Hi there, hateful, disgusting person reading this. That's you, Dave. Your policies are abhorrent, and you may as well just wear big signs that say you are full of hate and utter shit. You want to protect children from vulgar and corrupting sex education. Are you serious? Are you serious about that, Dave?
Very.
That's not a joke. All right, okay.
Definitely
You understand
not.
the correlation between a lack of sex education and unwanted pregnancy, which is difficult to stop, seeing as human beings are hardwired to reproduce, you hypocrites. So, human beings are going to reproduce, so you need vulgar and corrupting sex education.
Yes.
Can you make any sense of this?
No, I can't. What I suppose what comes to me is I want people to be responsible in their sexual activity and to bring children into the world and to nurture them, to look after them, to take responsibility for them. Families are a wonderful thing. And so, yeah, we promote ourselves as the family party.
Yeah. So our idea is to direct sexuality towards the creation of stable families rather than towards dysfunction and ultimately dissatisfaction. Anyway, continuing with this gentleman. My money's on you lot being abusive, CUNTS. Dave, he says you're abusive while using that language.
Yes.
I mean, we can't. Right. Anyway, yes, that's a bit from emails. Let's have a little listen to a quick phone message that Dave received as well. Let's see what he'd like to say to this lady who left this message for you.
Absolute scum, and I mean that. Like, you should leave your positions, and you're absolute bigots. I can't think of worse words to call you. You've probably hung up by this point, but you scum. There are absolutely no reasons for just fuck off. You're the spawn of the devil. You transphobic rot in hell. So fuck you. Fuck you, you ugly, homophobic, transphobic. So fuck you. I hope Satan kills you.
Dave, what would you like to say to that caller?
Well, I just end up feeling really sorry for her. I can't really express much more than that, but it's just you feel the sort of the bitterness from her that and end up thinking, how has she got to that position? You know, I long for people like that to, well, I can only think of setting them free really from their hatred. It feels like she's tied up with hatred, and I would love her to experience freedom.
Yeah. Right. Thanks very much, Dave, for sharing your thoughts there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Richard.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.